Hello, beautiful people. Sorry I'm late. Thank you for your patience. Cat hairs on the mic. How you doing? Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Hit the like button. Share the live. Child, we back at it. We back at it. Marshall Irons, good to see you. Q Smooth, dropping knowledge bombs. Rose V, hallelujah. Amen. Demetrius, clocking the YouTube screw ups, and also getting our goal started. Thank you so much. SGG, hello. Regal Love, good to see you. Claudia, making sure everybody has their P's and Q's in order. Make sure you change your chat settings from top chat to live chat so you can catch the main event, which is the chat. I am but a conduit. Me and my incredibly sinking chair. So annoying. But that's the budget we on, fam. Kai and the Kittens of Doom, how you doing? You better slap that like button. Thank you so much, beautiful. Butterfly Collection, good to see you. Little bitty one, hello. Docketgasm, that's appropriate. Although I don't think we're going to necessarily have a docketgasm for this live, but yeah, get you some merch. Support the channel. Appreciate you. We are back to talk about Mr. No Mirrors in the house and the lawsuit that he caught from Cameron. But before we get to that, just want to say a quick shout out to all of the members and the subscribers, all of the supporters, and the best mod squad on the internet, holding it down, making sure that the space stays hilarious, but within bounds, okay? Within bounds. I had to come up with something. I can't just mention J. Cole and not get in get in a shot. Well, I'm glad that I could keep you company. I've got some soaking right now to go into the dishwasher, so I feel you. Aw, shucks. Thanks, beloved. I appreciate you. So yes, coincidentally enough, I had recently just started a conversation in the Discord. What's a good topic for a live? And folks went deep. Folks went immediately deep. But I was like, man, just tell me Drake posted a photo of him in a Speedo. Good God. But good topics, good topics. One of which we will get to because I have some thoughts. I do. Yes. Yes. But first, let's talk about this because I have a theory. And I kind of hinted at this before along the way. There were a couple times where I was, irritated with Cameron, especially for some statements that he made during this little situation. Who can forget? Yes, who can forget that Razzie award-worthy interview? So here's how that came about. If you don't know, Cameron sued J. Cole several months ago over his feature on the song Ready 24. We read that lawsuit here. This is it, because we're going to look at everything that he was suing for, and I can't remember. But we read his lawsuit. We read J. Cole's response to the lawsuit. But in summary, Cameron had to chase, according to his lawsuit, J. Cole for several years for J. Cole to hold up his end of the deal on their alleged agreement regarding this feature, and J. Cole, according to Cameron, did not hold up his end of the deal. So he sued him. One of the things that he alleged that he wanted J. Cole to do was to come onto his podcast. So if you're wondering how it is we got, it is because Cameron sued J. Cole. Okay. And J. Cole went on to the podcast. You can get you some Boom 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 merch if you feel really strongly about it. But anyway, J. Cole went on to the podcast. They had a horrible interview on both sides. And during that interview, Cameron said to J. Cole, "Oh, the lawsuit was never going to go anywhere. That was never, I was just trying to get your attention." To which I said, "Negro, what are you talking about?" So a lot of the J Fold Glazers said, "This lawsuit's going to be dropped the next day." And it wasn't. It's been some time. If you'll recall, it's been some time since the fallover came out. That was around that time where he did that interview, and that lawsuit did not get dropped. And I realized to myself, I said, "Oh, Cameron is playing with J. Cole. He's like saying all of the things to J. Cole that J. Cole wants to hear." J. Cole was probably like, "You know what? I'll come on to your little podcast. I'll do the little thing. Let's get this settled, right? Let's get this settled." Cameron said, "Sure, come on." Hit the like button, share the live. How's our ratio, mods? Is it nipply in here? Because if it's nipply in here, I need to know so I can act accordingly. How could you forget about the boom, boom, boom? How could you forget about that? One of the all-time greatest, most pathetic moments of 2026. I'm just wondering how we doing. It's looking a little low. There's only 74 people in here. I'm surprised. What's going on? What's going on with the like ratio? 62 likes out of 76. Eh, some of you are holding out. Some of you are holding out. Okay. All right. Noted. So anyway, we got the boom, boom, boom interview, and the lawsuit didn't go anywhere. So I said, this man is playing with J. Cole. I'm sure J. Cole literally thought, okay, so boom, all I got to do is do this little podcast and then we good to go. Blase, blase. That's clearly not what happened. Good for you. Good for you. Don't, some of you on here just want to fuck up the class project for everybody else. And that's not nice. Now, is it? That's not nice. It's not nice. Everybody else doing the work, you won't get the credit now. Go ahead, hit the like button. Okay, so let's look again at. So Cameron files this lawsuit. J. Cole replies. And remember, J. Cole's defense was, he blessed me. J. Cole's defense to everything that Cameron was suing him for was, uh-uh. First, it was hard to tell if J. Cole even knew who Cameron was by reading his reply to the lawsuit. But nevertheless, he, demurred and was like, "Well, yeah, yes, he gave me the feature for my song. He blessed me with it." That is the first time I have ever Thuggy would be so proud. That's the first time I've ever read that in a lawsuit. He blessed me with it. The fallover continues. So Therefore, Cameron was suing for, let's see here. Did he give a summary? No, he didn't. He gonna make me, this boy gonna make me read. Okay, hit that like button. So he said that he was owed at least $500,000. Said that he was the co-author of the song. And he wanted the court to declare him the co-author of the whole song, not just of his verse. Royalties and an accounting of all monies related to the composition and recording of the song. So he wanted to win co-author, accounting, attorney's fees and costs, and other further relief, and at least $500,000. So today, after they have been postponing and postponing and postponing their next hearing before the judge, this is what let me know that it wasn't just going to be withdrawn for no reason, right? Um, the fact that they kept postponing their next hearing with the judge for one reason or another, okay, was an indicator to me that he wasn't just going to withdraw the lawsuit, as he had suggested during his own podcast when he said to J. Cole, this lawsuit was never going to go anywhere. Well, it certainly wasn't going away. I mean, I feel like we should be at a 1-to-1 ratio. So, hit the like button if you're just joining. We got a little over 90 people here. Soft, mirror free life. So, defendants, which means this comes from J. Cole's lawyers, and Cameron's lawyers agreed, yeah, go ahead and send this to the court. Defendants write with plaintiff's consent to notify the court that the parties have reached an agreement in principle to resolve the remaining claims in this action and are finalizing the settlement papers. The parties expect to complete that process within 30 days. In light of the parties' agreement in principle, the parties respectfully request that the court enter a conditional order dismissing this action without costs and without prejudice to the right of any party to reopen the action by written application filed within 30 days of the date of the court's order if the settlement is not finalized and consummated, subject to any party's right to seek an extension of that deadline from the court for good cause shown. Translation: we are asking for you to conditionally dismiss this case because we have an agreement in theory, but dismiss without prejudice so that if the agreement is not finalized, then Cameron can refile it. So when they say, the parties respectfully request that the court enter a conditional order dismissing this action without costs, that means that nobody's asking for the other to pay attorney's fees. Everybody is taking this as a business expense, okay? Without cost and without prejudice. Without prejudice means it could be refiled if the settlement terms are not actually reached within 30 days. So this is J. Cole's lawyers to the court. And then the proposed order from the court The court, having been informed that the parties have reached a settlement in principle, it is hereby ordered that the above captioned action is dismissed and discontinued without cost and without prejudice to the right of any party to reopen the action by written application filed within 30 days of the date of this order if the settlement is not finalized and consummated, or to seek an extension of the settlement deadline for good cause. Any application to reopen or to extend the deadline to reopen must be filed by the foregoing deadline. Any such application filed thereafter may be denied solely on that basis. If no application is reopened, if no application to reopen or to extend the deadline to reopen is filed by that deadline, the dismissal shall be deemed with prejudice without further order of the court. The initial pretrial conference scheduled for May 28th, 2026 at 2 p.m., which is 2 days from now, or any related pre-conference submission deadlines are vacated, any pending motions are denied as moot, the clerk of the court is directed to close this case. So that's their proposed order to the judge. When you want the judge to do something, you draft the order. And if they have some changes, maybe they'll write them in or they'll, write their own. So that's basically where it's at. They, in theory, have an agreement. Nobody's paying for anybody's attorneys in this little kerfuffle that they've gotten into over this song and Cameron's compensation for it. But clearly, Cameron just went ahead and let J. Cole believe, like, oh, yeah, it's fine. It's done. Oh, the lawsuit wasn't going to go anywhere. That man was going to get his money and whatever else it is that he has determined that he wants from J. Cole before he lets go of this lawsuit for real, for real. Because if he was letting it go with nothing, he would have just voluntarily dismissed it. And that's what we would be reading. But instead, they very specifically filed, we are settling this case. Not there's no longer a dispute, but we are settling this case. So we're not going to know what the settlement is. That's not something that is going to be on the docket. It's probably going to be private. It probably will have an NDA attached to it. So we're probably not going to get a whole lot of um, detail, but there could be indicators, right? Because the song in question, according to Cameron's lawsuit, has not been filed with the Copyright Office. And I think one of the things that well, I know because we just read it. One of the things that he wanted was co-authorship. So, for example, this song could pop up with on the registry with Cameron listed as a co-author, and that would be an indicator that that was part of a settlement, right? So there could be indicators, there could be no indicators, but I would imagine that J. Cole really wants this lawsuit to go away, and Cameron played with his food a little bit, and he's gonna get whatever he feels like satisfies him for dessert, and then he's gonna move the fuck on. He let him sit there and sweat, and he let his lawyer go back to work, and he really did it on his own schedule, like, "I will get to it when we get to it," kind of thing. And when you look at the sequence of events in totality, it seems pretty obvious to me anyway, in retrospect, how eager J. Cole was to be like, "Okay, what do you need? What do you da 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 da," you know? Um, and when I was watching that interview, aside from Cameron's statements that just made me go, "Why would you say that out loud?" I know lawyers on both sides are both pulling out their hair and taking really helpful notes. J. Cole said some things on his side that, in theory, could be helpful to Cameron in getting the settlement that he wants from J. Cole, you know? He said he offered to pay him, wanted to make sure he got paid and was fully taken care of and da 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 da. And then he said, Cameron was like, "No, no, we're good, we're good." But there were things on both sides where I was just like, "Shut up! I can't believe you're speaking to each other in something we can all see." In something that if it has been edited can be subpoenaed for the whole tape. I was just like, this, why are you doing this? But in retrospect, I can see exactly why he did it. He taught that boy a lesson. Yeah. J. Cole had to bend the knee all the way. I'll do your little podcast. Okay. We good? Yeah, we're good. I'm still suing your ass, though. Yeah, he clowns, but he had his lawyers, whomever, had a strategy for this one, and he just said, "What the fuck ever" to J. Cole's face and then kept it pushing with his lawsuit. You know? Just kept it pushing with his lawsuit. Was like, "Okay, Imma need this, this, and this, and we'll call it good." We got 100 over 100 people in here. How many likes we got? That's the question. He's not suing for attorney's fees. That's why it says no cost. Now, of course, obviously, he can take any money that he gets from this and pay his attorneys with it, but, when you're suing somebody, you're ready you're prepared for, you know, to be able to give your attorneys a little bit of coin with relation to costs up front because there are some things, depending on what jurisdiction you're in, there are some things that a law firm can cover for their client, and there are other things that the client has to be the one to, on paper, have been the one to pay the thing, right? Fees, in a lawsuit. So, I don't know. I'm not gonna look that deeply because I don't care that much about it. But they have in theory reached an agreement, so we'll see 30 days after, this is signed, uh, if there's any other docket updates. I don't even know that he would necessarily go that far. I think he would just talk about him on his podcast. And that'll get just as much attention as a song nowadays. So, yeah, and he was the one that had the public narrative, right? J. Cole didn't have a public narrative. He responded in his official response to the lawsuit and was prepared to litigate it because he didn't file a motion to dismiss. So, but he wasn't out there talking about it. Cameron had the platform, he had the audience, that the audience had the appetite for anything, so he was winning the narrative on that. Whether what he was saying was accurate or factual with regard to, the disputed facts in the lawsuit or not, doesn't really matter. So, J. Cole was never gonna be able to really overcome that because he does his little blog posts in a little vacuum where nobody can touch him. Cameron's not afraid to engage, put his face and his voice to it, and be out there chirping. And he's got more cred in that area because he's been around a lot longer. Yeah, sure. I didn't realize it was the first interview versus a interview. Um, but sure, you know. I mean, the interesting thing about J. Cole's little interview run that he did back then was, number 1, it was disastrous, but number 2, it was like, image repair, and it didn't work, you know? It was every one of those was an image repair thing that didn't work, that didn't land well, that didn't fix what it was that he set out to re-narrate. Felt felt really snake oil salesman-y, you know? You didn't you didn't like it? Also, no shade, no tea, Cameron at least in that interview, is a horrible interviewer. I don't he I don't think he gave a shit about anything J. Cole said, about anything. I don't think he really cared about anything. I think he asked his questions every once in a while. He saw an opportunity for a free jab, took it, just kind of would lob this little mini grenade over to J. Cole, who boom, 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 didn't know what to do with it, and would proceed with, "Yeah, but I'm saying though," type answers. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit from a 42-year-old man or however the fuck old he is. Ain't nobody trying to hear an hour and a half of boom, boom, boom. Yeah, but I'm saying though. Okay, so boom. Boy, it was so bad. Questions out of order, completely disinterested, no real this is why I can't take hip hop journalism and all the podcast bros, and he is a podcast bro, seriously, because you're just there to get your lick in, which, hey, I'm not mad about. You know people are gonna click. You put out the little clickbaity, preview where he throws the door open like J. Cole gonna confront a single motherfucker for real about a goddamn thing. That was interesting. So he played it to his advantage. He got the clicks and the views and the monetization from that. Okay, great. But the interview itself, trash. Yeah, stuck to his pre-writtens and then handed it over to homegirl who was there to just fan out. Also not there to ask a single difficult question. But kept it pushing. Yeah. Right. There was a lot of, uh-huh, mhm, right, right, right. So you used to own that Honda, huh? So you be playing professional basketball overseas, huh? So did such and such yeah, I'd love to tell you about it, but feels like kicking a man when he's down. He did himself no favors with any of those interviews. Not a single fucking favor. Black Eyed Peas did it better, and I hate that fucking song. So I hope that they have settled. I hope it is finalized, and I hope we don't have to talk about this anymore because, you know, yeah, really, really pathetic. Yeah, and then both of them being like, "Well, he's my friend," so the "so" speaks volumes. Drake my guy though, so oh, okay. Alright. So you don't give a fuck what fact is fact. You'll recount all of that and then dismiss it because let me guess, Drake blessed you. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, so that's over. That's great, and I'm very happy. And we can move the fuck on. Let me back up at least a year. I did a short video reacting to Cheyenne Bryant on What's his buckets podcast? Oh god, what's the name of that football player that can't spell with letters? Cam, another Cam. Cam Newton. That's right. I did a little reaction video about that and we talked about it. And I gotta tell you, I'll just be perfectly honest with you. That video and that conversation is the one where I regret the most making. Not because it set off some kind of firestorm, not I regret it because I knew when I made it, and I know every time I watch it back that I was not 100% honest. And I think it was because, first of all, I was disgusted watching it, and I was disgusted equally. A lot of people were, like, really disgusted with Cam because Cam and, people were hyping her up because she, read him for filth or whatever. Um, and so I went into it pretty much already adopting that narrative. And instead of just saying what I really felt, which was, I think this woman is fucking horrible. And if she's really a psychologist, she's got to be one of the worst. I would never want to be her patient. And in fact, I wouldn't imagine that she would take women as clients. But I didn't. Instead, I went in with the because I can't stand Cam. I think he's a misogynistic piece of shit. So I went into that video and conversation with you all kind of with that bias. So I am appreciative of the opportunity to return to the topic at hand and say that I think this woman is fucking horrible. I think she is a joke and I think she is a liar. Period. There is not a single motherfucker on the planet with a doctorate who won't mush your face in it. I don't care if it came from a fucking city college because they have a doctorate. Now, she says that she has 6 degrees and 3 doctorates, and she's not willing to stand on a motherfucking one of them. She's a liar. She does not have a doctorate. She said that she earned the title of doctor, and the only way you can earn the title of doctor is to get a fucking doctorate. Honoraries don't count. I knew somebody who got an honorary doctorate, and he tried to change his signature line at work and wanted people to start referring to him as Doctor such and such, and I was like, "I will not, because 'cause you're not actually a doctor and you didn't actually earn a doctorate." She said she got 3. Name where she got 1. Because here's the problem with saying that you have a degree or that you don't have. Well, here's the problem with saying that you have a degree if you don't know. That's basically public information. If you disclose where you went to school, anybody can call and check and find out, do you actually have that degree? Do you actually have a doctorate? 6 degrees, 3 doctorates. That's part of her spiel about herself. And then she's, going around saying, "I earned the title of doctor." Not if you don't have a doctorate, you didn't. There's no in between. And Amanda Seales can sit down and shut the fuck up. Because we're not about to play. Like, you can run around saying that you are a doctor and you don't have a doctorate. We're not about to do that. We're not about to do that. That is not okay. We got enough pseudoscience motherfuckers running around on the internet trying to fuck everything up based on fake accreditation that they don't have. And they use it in order to appear more valid than they are because they know otherwise people wouldn't fucking listen to them. That's fraud. That's horseshit. Yeah, and you're not supposed to do that either. You don't get to put doctor on your name because you're in a doctoral program. You get to put doctoral student next to your name or doctoral candidate. That's what you get to put next to your name, but you don't get to put doctor until you are told and given the paperwork and it is registered with the university that you are a doctor. And there's no comparing her to anybody. Amanda Seales just needs to shut the fuck up. So the most recent thing that has resurfaced on the internet is an older clip of not Dr. Cheyenne or fake Dr. Cheyenne berating Teray. I'm also not a fan of his. I was like, "God, I can't get a clean win. Jesus fucking Christ. Can't get a clean win." First it was Cam Newton and now it's Teray. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm still going to say what it is that I have to say, even though it's Teray. There's an old clip circulating on the internet of fake doctor berating and mocking Teray for being a soft man. And I had not seen this clip before this past weekend because I don't hate watch things. Not a fan of his. Don't appreciate the shit that he tried to, pull over here with his little rap podcast on that whole Lupe fiasco. Then just for a host of reasons. I'm not a big fan. But anyway, I watched the clip and I was absolutely mortified. Absolutely mortified by her misogynistic, homophobic horseshit that she just spewed out of her fucking mouth. And then when he goes to close the segment, she interrupts him and then starts insulting him with what can only be referred to as homophobic adjacent language. And that, to me, aside from every other clip I've seen of her where she wants to be snappy and witty and have just the quickest, one sentence comeback, one sentence solution, one sentence diagnosis of a situation. Nothing will key you in on somebody ain't got a fucking doctorate or isn't using it than them being some soundbite personality on the internet. So I've never been impressed, never liked the advice or the stance that she takes on a thing. But the Teray video in particular, I was like, well, there she is. Because, she says her spiel and, about soft men and masculinity in the home and boys need structure and da 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 da. So number one, I don't like that she's, insulting my household because that's not how we got down here. And he's doing just fine. Okay. But then when he goes to close out the segment, he's just like, well, I hope we do have, more boys who are in touch with their emotions, and we do have more boys. And she just starts railing on him. And he's like, what is happening right now? What are you doing? The show is over. And she's basically like, you soft pansy ass little sissy boy. That's a paraphrase. But that's basically, of course you like him because you're a soft man. Don't talk to me that way, soft man, and weak man. And I was just like, that was not a proportional response to what it was that he was saying. It was not a proportional response. That was somebody losing their shit and showing their true colors. She's a fraud. She's a liar. She's misogynistic. And she's homophobic. And I will stand on that. And she should be dragged for fucking filth if she cannot produce a document that, I almost said a docket, a document that shows that she has a doctorate. She should be dragged for fucking filth. That is not a difficult ask. I don't give a fuck if your doctorate is in marine biology. You better come up with something, but you don't get to sit there and say, you don't get to challenge me or question me or I earned it. No, the fuck you didn't if you didn't. And yes, the fuck people do. You think people should listen to you just because you said so? Ho, is you okay? No, people won't listen to you just because you said so. That's why you put doctor in front of your name. She's talking about things that she has no actual lived experience in. And this is why I'm not with the whole, snappy comeback, people getting on the internet and just going as hard and as fast as they can so that people be like, oh my God, she didn't even stutter. Did you see that? Such a read. That's not real life. And I believe this is absolutely true. I do believe this is true. And I thought that when I saw her on Cam's show, my first reaction was, and I know this is going to make me sound like a prude or sexist or whatever, but my first reaction was, what is she wearing? What is she wearing? And I'm all for, and I've been one of those people. I am one of those people, as a matter of fact. There's nothing that has given me more joy than to be so old in my profession that I can show up to a meeting where I am one of the subject matter experts, and I can show up in a suit or I can show up in my sweats, and I'm still the subject matter expert in the room. So I definitely understand, living in and dressing in whatever your truth is. But that was the first time I had really paid attention to her. When I was, you know, preparing that reaction, I did some research on her. So there were some things that I definitely noticed. I watched a couple different videos with her and I was like, well, she doesn't actually dig into anything really. She makes judgment calls. She uses, terms that aren't actually technical terminology, but they're words that suit her. She always dresses and presents a certain way. And I was like, oh, she just wants to be famous. She doesn't actually want to help people. That's not what she's doing on the internet. She wants to be famous and she wants to get her shots off So people will say, "Ooh, she's cool," or the exact response that she got when she was on Cam's show. "Oh, she really handled him and this, that, and the other," and, that's what she wants people to see. But a doctor, where's the doctorate? And as soon as somebody say, "You have no right to ask me that," well, then you have no right to be on my television screen. You have no right to talk from a place of that level of expertise about a motherfucking thing. This is funny. Question for the uneducated heterosexual male. Would fake Dr. Bryant be considered an example of a bird? That's called malpractice. Flashbird. Fake it until you make it. That's called malpractice when you get up to the doctorate level. It's called fraud and malpractice. I mean, there will be, places that have her on because they're also not doing their due diligence. Back in my day, okay, when I was a youngin', you couldn't get on television calling yourself a doctor unless you proved to the producer that you had a doctorate. They're doing their due diligence as a network to make sure they are presenting somebody who is who they say that they are. You had to at least say, "Yes, I got my doctorate from in this subject." So 6 degrees, 3 dockets. She's the one who put it on the public record, and now she doesn't wanna back it up. What are the 6 degrees? And what are the 3 doctoral programs? Because if you started one and didn't finish it, guess what? That's also verifiable from somebody calling the registrar's office at the institution and saying, "Was such and such ever registered in your institution? For what?" I am lucky, Lawrence says. She is a bird and a troll. She can join Rachel Dolezal with the Only Toes. Oh my god. Wow. So that makes no sense, and I don't believe her. I don't believe her because when an institution closes down, those documents are typically held by a state institution, and therefore they can be recovered, right? Typically, it's your state's Department of Ed or, just depends, but those documents get held, okay, and they are recoverable for students. Did she go to an uncredited school? We don't know. She won't tell us which one it was, right? So, also, it doesn't fucking matter. She didn't get a doctorate. She didn't get a doctorate because here's the other thing is that certain, um, graduation statuses are also registered with the state where the institution is. So they're tracking who's graduated and with what kind of degree. So there are multiple ways to check these things. Did she only go to one school for all 3 doctorates and she's got no paperwork to back that up? Does that seem reasonable to you? Does that seem reasonable to you? I still have the papers I wrote my first year in college. I'm 48. They're printed. I still have unofficial transcripts. Hell, I might have a copy of an official transcript still sealed in an envelope. She went through 3 doctorates and she herself independently doesn't have any fucking paperwork at any point in time to back up that she was on track to graduate with one. I don't believe that. That defies reasonableness. These things are not complicated. That's something that I haven't seen. Okay, thank you. Kiki says she did say which school she went to, and other people who went came forward and said she was lying. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Because you're saying it in the affirmative. She got her doctorate from ICDC College. Have you seen it? She posted. Where is it? She went to DeVry and ITT Tech. Hilarious. 3 doctorates in America, allegedly so. Yeah, how many box tops did you have to collect and send away for that degree? We wanna see it. Mm-mm, not me. Nope. That's why I'm, you know, very forward about my people are like, "Where'd you go to law school?" "Babes, I went to community college." I went to community college after dropping out of high school. Thank you very much. Don't get it twisted. I ain't got to lie to kick it, Craig. I ain't got to lie to kick it. The other thing is that I'm in a field where you get, professionally, you get comparable experience. You can't do that in a specialized field, and you can't do it with a doctorate. There's no equivalency. So I can work in a position with equivalent experience to a master's in my field without having a master's degree because I've more than demonstrated in my professional career that I can do the work of somebody who has a master's degree in the same field as me. So if, I'm applying for a job and it says master's degree or equivalent experience, I'm straight. I'm good to go. I've been in my field long enough that I don't need the master's degree, and that's verifiable. I still have my undergrad and grad transcripts at fingertips. I saw people saying they still have their papers. They still have some of their lab books, So I just, unless you grew up, in the age of Hurricane Katrina and you lost everything and your institution lost everything, I don't believe you. That's number one. And number two, they've come up with alternative ways since then to verify his people academic experience and achievement. So I just don't believe her. And I don't think anybody else should too. And you shouldn't let motherfuckers play in your goddamn face. And that is what she is doing. Anything short of, here is my transcript, here is my degree with my name on it, is playing in your fucking face. And the reason why it is a problem and why I'm going so hard is because we got a bunch of unqualified motherfuckers in this country playing in everybody's fucking face, playing with our lives, playing with the stability of our healthcare system, of our voting system, of law enforcement accountability systems, of our justice system, unqualified to do anything. And she thinks snappy comebacks and da 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 da. She's not trying to help a single motherfucker. She's just trying to get paid off of credentials she has not proven that she has. And it is horseshit for her to say anything otherwise. And it is horseshit for Amanda Seales to get up and defend her. But hit dogs holla. You want to talk about an unqualified motherfucker who talks about things they don't have any business talking about? Game recognized game, I guess. Nessa Moon says, all of my completed degrees are framed with the transcripts hiding behind them. I know that's right. She's an idiot and a liar. Yeah, this is not complicated. So I guess I'm just here to assure you all that this is not complicated. And her trying to muddy it up only proves she's not being transparent because she's muddying it up. And this is not complicated at all. A prime example. So I guess game recognized game. But you must be fucking kidding me. Shutting up is free. She didn't have to say shit. That's the thing that's crazy. You weren't in it. Didn't need to be in it. Didn't need to say anything. Did not help her. You did not help her because you don't know what the fuck you talking about neither. And you love to throw your credentials in people's face. You love to read people for filth and rest on your academic credentials. But now you want us to give her grace and be soft with her? I'm sorry, being soft is for sissies. Isn't that what she said? Fuck what you heard. What's the relevance? Doesn't matter. Look at that. Chat helping out chat. That's what this is. Chat helping just helps, you know? Look at that. You can get rid of some file folders. Stick them bad boys in the frames. You're good to go. I've never been to college, but I could never imagine myself acting like I have a doctorate. Like I can't juggle that many lives. Because here's the thing, right? When you say I have a doctorate in, the natural next question is, oh, from where? You have to have an answer for that. And if you are a public figure and you are lying about that, people who actually went to that school are going to stand up and say, that's not true. You're basically faking your identity in front of everybody. Thank you, beautiful. And we can see you. People who know you can see you. People who actually attended the institution that you're claiming can see you. Yeah. Where'd you go? What was your doctorate in? Do you know such and such? Those are the series of questions. Or how did you like it there? You're not listed as some, you know what I mean? As soon as an alumni makes television, colleges and universities are just quick to feature them on the website, send something out in the alumni newsletter. Where's hers? She been spewing shit on television and the internet for years. Where is the alumni association or the university or college who's like, "We claim her, she's ours." Baby, you do understand. We've talked about this before. There are people who exist in a space of audacity. And if you are lying about something, the longer the lie goes, the easier it is to continue lying about it. And for her to say, "Well, I earned that title," she believes her own bullshit. "I earned that title." How? Did you get a fucking doctorate? No? Then what are we even talking about here? What are we even talking about here? Is this not a chair? Thank you. I'll have you know that I argue with Facebook commenters online. Those are my qualifications. Right, and we've never heard her talk about that either, right? She never is coming from a place of pedagogy. She's got a bunch of snappy things. She does a lot of, like poster talk. The posters that have phrases on them where everything is just so concise and like 6 words or less that you see like in the waiting room of a therapist's office or a doctor's office or a dentist's office, hell, a welfare office, veterans affairs office. She does that. But then she uses a lot of words. She says really nothing. She never gives any insight into psychology itself. She just has her opinions. She has one of those people who is decided. She has decided men need to be this way for children to come up, and if they didn't come up under a man that way, then that's the reason why they're fucked up, and da 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 da. Like, that's not even with the times of psychology. That's not even current. So when I did that video about her, I don't know, year and a half ago, however long it was, and I watched, clips of her around the internet, those were the things that I noticed as an adult who has been in and out of therapy since I was a child, because I went to therapy because I was adopted. Um, Spoiler alert, adoptions don't always go well, right? The adopted child and the family can need support. So, and then all through adulthood and then working in clinical settings with professionals, even our cooler talk, you could tell around the water cooler who at the organization was an addiction therapist, who was a psychologist. Like, you could tell who was admin, who was a family support person. You could tell by the things that they said, even in casual conversation. Um, and I never pulled any of that from her. Now, obviously, I haven't seen every clip. I'm not going to go looking. I'm not saying that she's never done it, but what I am saying is I saw an easily identifiable pattern of more of a formula of speech and rationale that works for her, that comes across well on television or the internet and makes people go, "Ooh, ah," than her actually diving into, you know, peer reviewed, established pedagogy to help people. This is exactly right. Pain is weakness leaving the body. That's the kind of shit where you're just like, "What does that mean?" That doesn't mean anything. That is that, pseudoscience, self-help, um, cult leader bullshit. That's not a therapeutic conversation. To request your Argosy University transcript, submit an order online through Parchment. Parchment serves as the official records custodian for Argosy since they closed. What are we talking about? One Google search, how to get transcript from Argosy University. Parchment, first result. Utah, education, closed school transcripts, how to get them from Parchment. This is horseshit. This is exactly it. This is exactly how she talks. Real eyes, real eyes, real lies. Bitch, if you don't get out of my face. I missed it. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you. There you go. I proved you right in the comment section. Horseshit. I went to school there and they closed down. Okay, did you get a doctorate? Yes or no? Yes. Let's see it. No. Let's see what you were enrolled in. Do or do not. There is no try looking ass. I'm absolutely disgusted with people trying to hoodwink the public on their credentials and whether or not they do or don't have them. That is absurd. So just don't let people play in your face like that. She deserves all the smoke. And I really hope that it lessens her public, you know, platform. Um, Obviously, she's got a bunch of, fans like Nikki, really, who just they don't care. And that's fine that they don't care. They don't need to care. You wanna follow her and listen to everything she says? Fine. But nobody should put this woman on television or on their platforms and refer to her as Doctor anything ever again. You're misleading your audience if you do that. You should be able to find a dissertation in a database. And again, 3 doctorates. She went to Argosy for 3 doctorates? Okay. Prove it. She said she has 6 degrees and 3 doctorates. If she can't produce proof of all 3 doctorates, guess what? She's a liar. Yeah, Google refers to her as a lifestyle guru, which is so cringe. I don't even know what to say. Super fucking cringe. What the hell? You don't fall into 6 degrees. You earn them. So, she has 6 degrees. Depending on if she doubled up or not, we're talking 6 to 12 years. She's 43. If she has 6 degrees, that could have taken anywhere from 6 to 12 years to get just 6 degrees. If she has 3 doctorates, that's 4 to 8 years per doctorate. We'll go ahead and say 6. Okay, so that's just for 1. Is anybody else picking up what I'm laying down here? You know math is not my ministry. She's 42 or 43. If you're going in with a master's degree, sometimes it can slice off a year or 2. I don't think she specified whether she had bachelor's or master's degrees. Um, but did she go to one college for, like, everything? She can't produce a document for anything? 6 degrees, 3 doctorates. I'd like to see every single degree and every doctorate. Well, no nobody is gonna let you no institution is gonna let you triple doctorate. That's inconceivable. There are certain situations where you can double doctorate, but you can't get into a doctoral program unless you have one of the 6 degrees that you claim to have, and they can't just be AAs. You can't go from an AAA to a doctoral program. So she had to at least have gotten a bachelor's degree. There were some doctoral programs, depending, that might consider you, but I'm pretty sure you have to have a master's more often than not. You have to do each step before you can be considered for a doctoral program. So who knows? Maybe she was a, running start in high school. Maybe she left high school with an AA in something, got a little bit of a head start. I don't know, but I do know that it is not reasonable for somebody to say that they have 6 degrees and 3 doctorates, and they cannot produce or will not produce a single solitary piece of paper to back up any one of the 6 or any one of the 3. Yeah, we've already been through this. We looked up the website of where to get it. So the "my university closed down" is a horseshit excuse, because um states already have processes in place for what is required to happen to student records, transcripts, and the like when an education institution does close down. They don't just close down and then it's just like, "Oh my god, I can never get." No, no. No, no. A state will seize records if they have to, so that you can have access to your full academic record. I don't have the foggiest fucking idea. I honestly don't know. Oh, the leading question for Dr. Bryant is Dr. Bryant a doctor? She says that she has a doctorate in counseling psychology. She's got a lot of this on her website. So let me see here. She states she's earned a doctorate in counseling psychology from Argosy. She does not have a clinical license to practice therapy. She says she has a master's degree in marriage, family, and child therapy and a doctorate in counseling psychology. She holds 2 honorary doctorates. Those don't count as doctorates. So if that's the 2 that make up the 3, they don't fucking count. She says she doesn't need a license because she's not practicing clinical therapy. So she claims to have a doctorate. She claims to have been given 2 honorary doctorates, and those don't count. Guess what? If you get an honorary doctorate in law, you're not a lawyer. You're not barred in the state of the university that gave you your little honorary doctorate. You can't walk into a court of law the next day and practice law. You know why? Because you didn't go to law school. You don't know a fucking thing. Well, that's insulting. They do need clinical hours, at least a year's worth is usually how long it takes to do that from my very brief research here with you all. Yeah, but you can't skip things like a master's degree on your way to get your doctorate. Those are core competencies. They're prerequisites for a reason. So if somebody says to me, I have an honorary doctorate from, that does not mean shit to me. And it should not mean shit to you either. It shouldn't mean a fucking thing because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Hilarious. Right? I have no idea, beloved. Google is at your fingertips. I don't care. I've done enough work on this stupid little topic. Did she actually receive them? I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter because they're not real. You cannot hang your hat on an honorary degree. 9 times out of 10, when somebody is given an honorary degree, it's from a school they didn't go to. Let me see here. So she says that she went to Cal State University of Northridge at the age of 17, and she says that she obtained a double degree in psychology and Pan African studies. She went into the master's program at University of Phoenix. It does not say that she actually finished her master's degree at the University of Phoenix. It says halfway through, she got struck by a bolt of the blue and decided that she wanted to pursue her doctorate degree in counseling and psychology from Argosy University. I'm looking for the honorary degree. She's got a lot of bullet points here about what she has allegedly accomplished. Y'all have about 30 minutes to hit the chat goal, putting me through all this torture. I don't see it in the many bullet points, but I could have missed it because there's a lot. So in skimming over her biography on her own website, I don't see it. Yeah, well, we see how that worked on Mr. Robot. Everybody lost their damn homes. So, yeah, thank you, beautiful. You can book a session to see her. And if I had done that and found out later that she was not really a doctor, I would probably sue her for fraud. Wow, she charges more than I do. Well, of course, she has a doctorate. So if you'd like to meet with her for 50 minutes, it costs $350. Doctorate as fake as her titties, it would appear. I'm just saying. I would not be happy about that. I really would not be happy about that. According to her calendar, she's available all day, every day. Ridiculous. All right. I'm not about to advertise for her on here now. Don't make me do any more work than I already have. With regard to this biscuit head ass lion woman. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. And she's not the first and won't be the last person who dabbled in some things and was like, I think I got the gist of it from here. This is all it takes? Well, then I'm a doctor. And who's going to call me on it? It's pathetic. Truly pathetic. I agree. She's a damn grifter. So she'll have to, deal with the consequences of her grift and being called out or prove that she actually has a doctorate, 3 of them, and 6 degrees, because that's what I wanna see before I retract a motherfucking thing I've said. I want to see proof of all 6 degrees and all 3 doctorates, whether honorary or, hand drawn. Until then, she's a homophobic, misogynistic liar. Simple as that. Wouldn't that be interesting if somebody did actually sue her and then we'd be reading it on the docket? Yeah, that would be crazy. If you've bought a book, if you've booked a session, anything that you have paid for, wherein she has represented herself as a doctor and she doesn't have a doctorate, that's fraud. So she could also fall under the um, watchful eye of whatever state she operates out of and their attorney general's office. You ain't got to lie to kick it. I'm not gonna knock people for going to an online school, period, because there was a point in time where I did online classes, so I'm not gonna knock people, for that. You can get a viable education through that way, so I don't really care. Is it an accredited school? Okay, then. Did you actually get the degree? That's where the problem lies. If it's accredited and you got a degree, you should be able to prove it. It's that simple. As the internet has pointed out, lots of ways to verify this. None of them have worked with regard to her because it would appear she's a fucking liar. So, and I'm glad because I don't want people to think that that is what a psychologist is or that is what they do. That's not how they operate in a clinical setting. That's how they operate on TV to become popular. So, we've got about 30 minutes left. Maybe we'll get to the goal, maybe we won't. Tomato, tomato. I don't really have a whole lot more to talk about AMA, if anybody's got anything. Ray J got his ass whooped in a fight that was rigged for him to win, and now he's in the hospital. Not a lot going on in the, I mean, there's a lot going on in the news today, but you know what I mean. Lil Wayne is getting married to somebody young enough to be his child. This man is stupid and broke and weird. Sorry, not sorry. I don't have anything nice to say about Ray J. I've always, and I think I've made it pretty clear on this channel that I am not um a Kim Kardashian fan, but I've hated Ray J since the sex tape. Yeah, I've hated Ray J since the sex tape. He's never gotten better as a human being or a man. He's disgusting to me. Like, he is gross to me. You wanna talk about somebody giving you the ick. Ray J has always given me the ick. He's just gross. Um, a couple months ago, he said he was dying and only had hours or days to live. Suddenly now he's boxing, looking like a fucking idiot, and now he's in the hospital, potentially going to die again because he was boxing when he has a major fucking heart condition because he ain't got no fucking money. Um, I have no further details. I'm checking in with the chat. It's like, wait, 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 wait. He's getting married to who? He's getting married to a woman in her 20s from Indiana. I mean, I don't have a lot of good options right now. I could put this bitch ass motherfucker up on the screen. We're done talking about it. We're done talking about it. We were talking about the fake doctor, and Amanda Seales' dumbass entered the chat, as did an old video of the fake doctor being a homophobic gash towards Ture, who I'm not a fan of, but evidence is evidence. I'm sorry. And then there's these two biscuit head mofos and their stupid lawsuit. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of good options. I'm so sorry. And let me look something else. Oh, here we go. I don't know. Where'd you get Watt from? I don't know. Is that who he does he have a type? I can honestly tell you some that, uh Lil Wayne's relationship status has never been on my radar. I don't think I've ever paid attention to it. If you asked me to name somebody that he's been in a relationship with before, I couldn't do it. I know Drake slept with somebody when he wasn't supposed to. But I don't know no details about nothing like that. Yeah, let's see what else is going on. First of all, I don't think Jamie Foxx ever left white women, and now he's having a baby with one again. So I have no idea what you're talking about. OVO media campaign getting exposed by Livingston of all people. He was filmed in California shooting a video or something, and today he posted some disrespect of MJ because he's got his record now. What are you talking about? Number one, you're talking about OVOs. Number two, who are you talking about? No, he did not. I watched that special. He did not swear himself off of white women. He made a joke about swearing himself off of white women and then made it clear that he was never going to do that. Yeah, so she should be able to, get transcripts from everywhere. Hello, beautiful. So yeah, not a lot going on that I particularly want to talk about. Was it made up? Because people do that. Oh, American Music Award. Oh, God, Jesus. The AMAs and the Billboard our music awards are so annoying. Aiden Ross says Drake could beat the fuck out of Kendrick Lamar in a boxing match. These hoes are so desperate. It's unbelievable. That is never going to happen. This is how you know people are immature and fucking delusional. They think they can start trumping up this talk about Drake boxing Kendrick because all these little hoes are boxing each other and that it's actually gonna happen. That shit is never gonna happen, ever, 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 ever. That's number 1. And number 2, I think that would be a one-punch fight, if I'm being perfectly honest. God, this is so fucking annoying. Just tell me what Kendrick won. Best male hip hop artist. Jesus, that took forever. The American Music Awards says Kendrick Lamar is best male hip hop artist over Don Toliver, Playboy Cardi, Tyler the Creator, and Youngboy. Never broke again. I don't disagree with that, if those are the options. Yeah, these people are so pathetic. It just really is just like, I really don't understand. Um, I mean, I do. I do. I was gonna say I really don't understand why these motherfuckers are so pathetic, but I do. Hold on, let me take a screen caption of something. All right, I have a question. I want to know who this person is because I don't recognize them in any way, shape, or form. Who is this fake titty broad? Yes, I called her a fake titty broad. Who is this? I don't know. What did she do? How would I know who this big fake titty girl is? Since this is what XXL wants me to see as soon as I log on to their website. That's why I asked. Who is this fake titty girl with the ugly grill? Is she a rapper? Is she a singer? Girl, leave her alone. She's cool. Imma talk about her. Imma talk about her. Sorry, not sorry. Stop doing this to your body. It's not necessary. You look like a blow up doll. She's a sweetheart for real, and she's a rapper. Probably have not heard that song, wouldn't know anything about her. I just know that this ain't it. Stop doing that. That's all. I couldn't help it. Sorry. The body dysmorphia is disturbing to me. Was it a titty surgery? I will be very glad when women rappers get away from being male eye candy and fucking up their bodies in the process. But you don't need nothing that pushes them up. When you get them implanted, they just sit there. They don't go up or down. They just sit wherever they are placed surgically. You don't need a bra. Sounds like a tubal ligation or cyst. Yeah. Okay. Why are you telling me all this? Before I say, I don't give a shit. Why are you telling me all of this? Academics said a gambling company was running campaigns for ICE. Okay. Prior to that, around 12 a.m. Okay. OVO friendly accounts posted a vid of him filming in California, then deleted. Him who? That was the only question I asked you. Him who? Ack? Drake? Who? Is she talking about anything in these raps? Am I missing out? Am I missing out? Let me ask, am I missing out? Because this is not an appearance that makes me curious about music. Okay, that's great. Good for him. Is he proving that he's not scared to be in California? Was it in the middle of the day in Compton? Or was it in the middle of the night in Santa Barbara? I'm just curious. Jesus, the way people keep up with DJ Ack, I could never. Bless your heart. And I could never, unless it comes across a docket. Fuck him. What is going on there? Somebody just put something on the J. Cole Cameron docket notice regarding proposed order for dismissal, and I'm not willing to pay for it. So I don't know what it says. Yeah, 9:45 in Pasadena. He was filming at night. Okay. She is rapping about shit. Oh, God. It's about pride and blackness, more specifically Southern blackness. Well, I hope she manages to realize one day that she doesn't need those balloons attached to her chest. How old is she? Mona Leo? 25. Okay. Well, never mind. Where is the boy? He's booked. Yeah, in her early 20s and already unnecessarily augmenting her body. I'm just so sick of the fake ass, fake titties on women rappers. Like, that has to be you have to present that way in order to be successful. It's just really disgusting to me. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Yeah, I don't when I see a black woman with blue contacts, 1.5-inch eyelashes, and a weave, and fake titties, and a fake ass, you don't wanna be yourself in any way, shape, or form. I can take 1 or 2 of those things, but all of them all the time, every single day, you cannot see yourself. If you are wearing long ass eyelashes, you can't see yourself. And I don't mean, like, physically because they're in the way. I mean, like, you can't see that you look like you belong in the Capitol. If you look like you belong in the Capitol, then you can't see yourself anymore, and that's concerning. Well, some people have just accepted it as a thing that you do. They're not thinking about that. Like, it's already been decided. There is no thought process that needs to go into it because as far as they're concerned, it's already been proven to have been thought about, and everybody who is successful has done this, this, and this. So I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Yeah, I'm a little upset about it, but it's whatever. I'm not famous, so my cover was never gonna go viral. Yeah, somebody put it in the Discord. I still like mine better. And a lot of people will swear that they're not insecure, and that's not why they're doing it, and it's just like, you don't even know where it comes from, so but if you look like you belong in the Capitol, I don't trust your judgment. Imma need to know that you can at least see yourself. My little sad little cover. Thanks. Alright, y'all, well, we did not make the goal today, and that's okay, you know? Many of you did what you could, 7 of you came through, and I appreciate you very, 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 very much. But, like I said last week, at some point in time, we're gonna get to the day where it just doesn't happen for whatever reason, and that's okay, because 'cause I'm gonna punish you for it in the future when you least expect it, when you think I've forgotten. Yeah, after that, that's when Imma hit you with it. And let me say that I get that, right? Because I've been very open and honest, about going through my Hotepian phase, right? I went through my Hotepian phase and I had people literally challenge me to not wear makeup and to go outside, and I was in my early 20s, and I genuinely, honest to God, hand to God, had an anxiety attack the first time I did it. Um, I was inconsolable, and that was a really hard process to go through. It was a really hard process to go through, but it also just made me accept that, um, I I mean, obviously, I knew this already, but there was just a solidification of the status quo beauty standards are based on white women, and I'm not a white woman. And I'm never going to be considered, no matter how much makeup I put on or how much makeup I don't put on, I'm never going to be considered beautiful by those standards. And there definitely was something in my mind that made me realize that, like, oh, it is better to have somebody who is naturally attracted to you in your natural state than it is to have somebody attracted to you after you've done all of the things, and only after you've done all of the things. And that it's important to find somebody, or to let somebody find you in, that natural state, or doesn't balk at it when you reveal it to them, behind closed doors, that they're not repulsed, and that they understand the burden and the weight that you've been under to present a certain way, not just in this society, but in the workplace, right? Um, so I see both sides of it, and I'm sensitive to both, and, like, I've told you all, I will never come here on camera with you all unless I look a certain way. Um Because that's just the standard that I set for myself. Also, the internet is a very cruel, cruel place, and I'm not gonna just open myself up to that for no reason. I already come here looking, I think pretty acceptable, kinda cute every once in a while, and still have people drag me in the comment section for my age or my appearance or whatever it is that they wanna pick on that they can see within the screen about me. Um, so I get it. I get it, but, um, I'm very grateful that I've never not been able to see myself and felt like I need to change myself so drastically, um, that I can't see myself anymore. Chili does roll down here. It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You can block your eyes all you want, beautiful. I ain't gonna do it to you now. Imma wait. Imma wait. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I'm sure I will see you again this week. But until then, remember, she's not a doctor. Okay. Ah, I'll see y'all very soon. Peace.